Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I'm ready. I'm ready to continue where we left off. Hell yeah. So without further ado, let us get going. Let's go, boys. I'm ready to do what we must do. And that is leave. Pussy clean, pussy fresh. Let's go to prison. Let's head over to prison real quick. Oh, I guess there's something we needed to do here first. Briar Road. It's time, Mr. Naruhodo. We must hurry back to the prison. Yes, I know. Let's hail a car. Oh. What's the matter? It looks like something's going on over there in front of the Garadeb's house. What do you mean? Holy God. I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Oh, you calling her old man, you rum-looking nimny-piminy? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Who's this Horatio fella? What are you on about? Excuse me? Who are you now? I'm sorry. It just looked as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see. A lawyer? What? If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I've studied English law. Fine, I'll be on my way for today. But you mark my words. This ain't over yet. Oh, dude, what a pose. Get thee to a nunnery. That is a Hamlet quote. Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you? I recognize that shit. Are you just fucking quoting Shakespeare? Is that your shit? Goddamn that chin, right? The other guy's chin. I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle, thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here, in the Garadeb residence? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Garadeb mentioned he had another lodger, didn't he? This must be the man. Probably the killer, if I must guess. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Ah, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a polemist in my battle of words ne'er could there be. Sorry? Battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So fair maiden, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. Jesus, he does, yeah, he quotes Shakespeare a lot, Jesus. I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. It seems he's unaware of what's happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. So with Soseki-san and that man as lodgers, the Garadeb house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Bum, 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 bum. Dude, I literally have had fucking, the other detective, I forget his name. I've had his theme stuck in my head for like literally the entire week since I played this. What's his fucking name? People. What's his? Fucking Tobias Gregson. I've had this man's theme stuck in my head for like 20 years right now, bro. I'm not even capping. All right. Dude, dude, right? It's so catchy. Oh, it's you. You're here. You came. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched. We're so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. No, think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing, Nipponese. Oh, now, let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. There is nothing more reassuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand, I fucking knew it. It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. It's you! The miserable rotten spy, Herlock Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything per se, save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight and cost me not a penny. Oh, you! How dare you, Herlock Sholmes! I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. Haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings. No doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned! What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean. And there is much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say, for the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Bye! No, I misclicked. Converse. Curse a trial. Mr. Natsume, what did you mean by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed? Oh no! Why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous! I was just getting carried away, that's all! I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. That's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial is really cursed somehow? I mean, if what has been said about, Van Zieks is true, then maybe. You know, fuck it. Are you referring to the prosecutor? The Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please, tell me, summarize this succinctly in 16 salient words. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. Oh my goodness! Can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly! Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGilden. What? I'm impressed, Mr. Zotto. You have an eye for detail. I've had my cursor over it. I thought I said death. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes. Surely it can't be having failed to have the accused convicted. Lord Van Zieks killed the man himself. Oh shit, dude. Mr. McGillen got isekai'd to Hyrule? Dude, he's in Hyrule, bro. We just gotta find him somewhere. I promise, bro. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. I don't think he did. I think Van Zieks is just a little baby boy who needs his mommy wommy to give him some Milky Wilkies. You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yes. Why, of course he is. Of course he is. Then why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. Give us some Van Zieks' backstory, please. What on earth do you mean by that? The Reaper. On God? No backstory? Van Zieks is quite an exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Oh, that's good. Joseki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, even in a British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system, whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion in particular is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling impostors as witnesses, and so on. By such underhanded means, those who would want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly, is from time to time, my dear madame. It is simply the reality of the situation. And that's alright? However, those indicted by Lord Van Zieks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom. Within months, they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? By all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhodo. Van Zieks is a so no guilty verdict, breaks the spine. No, I don't think he's actually evil, though. I think it's just like, I think he has really bad luck. I will continue with my theory that Van Zieks is just a little baby wavy who wants his mommy wommy to give him some Milky Wookies. And until I'm proven otherwise, I will be going with that theory. He's the absolute attorney. I think so, Loki. I knew it. I'm dead. Done for doomed. Cursed lodgings. When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at Mr. Garradep's house, I assume. Do you mean to say you believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. But I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long, then. I started looking at men. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me, all the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room. But even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I've had to move a number of times, most recently to that room on Briar Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. The rent is cheap. I have so little money it appealed to me straight away. I think like the music might be just a tad too loud. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, the room is cursed. Oops. What the fuck does simpered mean? He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late, so I told him, if you have something to say, then say it. But if not, don't mention it in the first place. Yes, well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean the room really is cursed, then? Ever since I moved into that windowless hellhole. My sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. I go, Daddy? Sorry. Daddy? Sorry. Daddy? Sorry. And then I go back asleep. In my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm branded a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. Surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone. I'm holding out for a hero till the morning light. This one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really, no one at all. To believe. Yes, to believe. Fairy godparents! You're right, dude. That is what it is. Mr. Sholmes. Me, Mr. Naruhodo. Pray, what can I do for you? It's about the case on SS Burya, if you recall. The Buria! The Buria! Ah, that case. The one with the snake! Well, yes. At that time, I was the suspect. But you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. And you helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is, will you marry me? Why? Why did you believe in me? I see, yes. You mean... because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room? Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I have a pretty strong gaydar. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. God, strand of hair. What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Stop playing with your fucking hair and I'll tell you. I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning? Whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right. It's right! Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Gay people cannot be criminals. You are. You are. Whether or not I can believe in myself, anyone who dances with me and snaps their fingers and lights flare about is a gay man for sure. A defense lawyer is only good as his faith in his client. Hi, what's up? I was in this game once. Can you believe that? I still can't. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. I forgot how much I liked doing this voice, and now I'm even sadder that he's gone. You were so right, Kazuma. I should have kissed you on the lips when I had the chance. I knew it. But now that Pride Month is over, I'm afraid he must be found guilty. Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe. Already. Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There is a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? I want to go. I want some trout. Oh dear, there is never enough time, is there? Trout. I'm just a little trout in a big sea. Mr. Natsume, if you'd like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. Welcome, student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. As I said, I only experienced the British courtroom for the first time yesterday. And although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in. The defendant, justice, or the truth. How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else. To trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry, yeah. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Welcome, student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhodo, that your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. Of course I am. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Sorry, I wanted to do the scream again. Mr. Sato. Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Was gonna make a joke. Glad I checked. Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. She's a cooler Maya. Wow, okay, damn. Dude, why is the fucking overlay on the chat like speaking some bullshit? Every apostrophe fucking gets blurred to like what is that? What's up with that, shoddy? That's some bullshit right there. Chat is fucked, dude. Yeah, what the fuck, dude? The events of my mind yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. I'll look into it after today's stream, see if I can't fix it. It's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. Soseki-san has no one. He's all alone. So it's my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow, in the courtroom, with all the strength I can muster. Oh, bro, I literally could have done this. I would have taken 30 minutes, though, so. Yes. Yeah, today's incentive is 1 Twitch sub. If we get 1 Twitch sub, whether it be gifted, a prime, a normal sub, whatever the fuck. If we get 1 sub and a resub, those count too. If you continue my sub, if you continued your sub, that would count. If we get 1 sub, we extend the stream by half an hour. There we go, boys. We figured it out. 20th of February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendant antechamber. Oh, I don't know. My dead body's hidden under the couch somewhere, laddie. You'll have to come find me. Sorry, God damn it, I miss his voice. I love doing his voice, dude. Who would have thought we'd be back here again so soon? Oh, I don't know. We are on a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. Shoot, I don't have enough. No worries, Crisis. Absolutely no worries, man. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Can't spell crass without ass! When you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning! Is that Sasaki-san? Yes. Good. Ah, Mr. Natsume. Good morning. Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain. Yes, I've heard that expression. But I really don't want to catch a worm. So I tried desperately not to wake up early. I was so terrified I couldn't catch a wink. And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. Do all literary people take things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble. Really? Because I can feel tremors on the floor. I can do this. I can't take it. Although, welcome soon, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Oh, neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Miss Susato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look on your face is just coincidence then, is it? Don't hide the truth from me! It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Von Zeeks! My mom is vacuuming downstairs! My God! Is that right, Miss Susato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Von Zeeks is on the front page of every one. I knew it! Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? Oh, I get to do Gregson again. I don't. No, I fucking don't. The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Von Zeeks' return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. Oh, I don't know. The trial of Magnus McGilded? What the harrowing experience that was. I just love how it cuts to him, and he's got the fucking, like, he looks like a goblin. He's just standing there like, oh, I don't know. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's. But we wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they're all speculating various answers. Mundane! Mundane! It's the most significant saga of the century to some of us. I didn't mean to click on the court record button. What's in the court record? I didn't mean no offense, Mr. Natsumi, but that is how the papers are describing it. Briar Road, Calabash Road, Maysham Street. And then secondhand book report. Okay. We have no fucking evidence. Well, lest we forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Locum Stym, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. It's you! Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper! Please, I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers. I'm afraid that there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another example, Mr. Naruhodo, of your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that. Oh, this is just my luck. Why must I be represented by a man with such frail fortune? By the least lucky lawyer alive! Wow, okay, dick. Guess I won't represent you then. Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Fuck! Yes, it's true that I'm just a student new to London, with little ways in the experience or skills or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end, and I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Oh, benevolent locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Oh, benevolent non-locum assistant, Miss Mikotoba Esquire S. I'm in your debt forever. I shall never forget this great kindness for as long as I live. Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense, mate. You better get over here. The court session's about to begin, mate. Make your way to the courtroom at once. Oh, maybe I should give them Scottish accents. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. All right then, Mr. Natsume, it's time. Let's go. Yes. Bum, 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 bum. This is it. My second appearance in a British courtroom, and my second trial against the Reaper. Hey, what's up? I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because this time I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. Let's fucking go, dude. Let's fucking go. 20th of February, 10 a.m. There's a vacuum outside my room. The Old Bailey courtroom. I get to say, ooh, he looks so hot. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and the defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago. A mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Suzato-san. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. 1. This is Magnus's blood I'm drinking. Very true. And the most fascinating, if dark, trial it was, too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. here's to the acquitted and his unfortunate violent end. New juror. Is that yo? Look at who's in the jury. Wait, hold up. Thank you, counsels. I see both sides are in fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court, impartial members of the public? You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone. You bastard.
Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than I appear.
It is fair play, bro.
Oh, well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow.
Shoddy! Shoddy. Shoddy.
I'm afraid to say it's quite possible that Mustache Warner did the deed.
I don't think that was first. He looks different, but it could be. It could be first. Yo, camera, focus. Come on, what are we waiting for? No doubt he did it anywhere.
Sorry, didn't quite catch that.
Very well, let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Zeeks. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. Soseki these nuts! Found guilty immediately. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably the kindness has not been returned. In fact, this student is accused of a most sinister act. Of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. A knife crime? I tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst! Bloody oath they are!
Just look at the sallow complexion and tall stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese.
Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Motherfucker, wait. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. They're very racist, chat. I think we've established this already. Pray, forgive the Fuck! It's like, God damn it! Forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hallowed chalice here in this grand chamber. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please. Mr. Gregson. It's Mr. Gregson. I got my chips in here, right? What's going on? Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir! Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum bum. Bum. This motherfucker's got a banger theme. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector?
Hey, pal.
The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green.
I beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be?
Yes, having been stabbed in the back by a attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since. What? So they don't even know who she is for sure? She might be Tomato Red!
Comatose, I see, but her life is not in danger.
Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector. Sir, if I could ask everyone to look at this street map. Banana yellow. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles. It had not been long since snowing the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far.
Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please.
Case file. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. What of the weapon that was used? Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch. That big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now. With a heavy blade like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman. Even the scragged-looking Saseki-san, I suppose. I'm making my chair squeak. That's what it is. A common or garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence. Alright, I want to examine both of these things immediately. Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? 1 second, though, Judge. Young woman rendered unconscious following a stab wound in the back. Female, stout, early 20s. Pavement on Briar Road, East Side. Reporting officer, Rolly B. Rolly B. The victim remains unconscious. Her name was gleaned from her personal effects. Other details are unknown. Apart from the single stabbing with a large knife, no other signs of injury were observed. The assailant was seen running away by a reporting officer and was successfully arrested the following day. Open it up. Interesting thing to note. The tip is broken off. I have a knife just like that. Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo. Just to the tip. Nope, don't make that Call myself on that one. Small piece of the blade appears to be missing. You're right. Well spotted, Mr. Sato. I wonder what could have happened to it. Yes. You don't think it could still be lodged in the victim, do you? Oh dear. I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful. Wait, Chad, do I have it? Do I have that knife? I don't even know if I'm allowed to show it to you, though, is the problem. But do I have it? I do! Chat, I do. Wait, let me show you. I think I'm allowed to show you. There shouldn't be any problem with that. All right, chat. I literally have a knife literally just like it. And chat. The tip's broken off. Bro, did I commit this murder? I committed this murder. Oh, shit. I think I did it. God damn, bro. Chat, don't tell anyone. It's our little secret. Anything else? No, okay. That's the most important detail, though. From what we can tell by looking at the woman's positions, it seems like she's a poor student herself. Hard to imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord. I say, well, in that case, I'll be looking at some deep-seated resentment toward the victim. I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from Vincent checking out bookshops, the defendant, Miss Natsumi, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim. Yes! Yes! Okay, but good. Imagine a Forge and Fire episode with characters from Ace Attorney. What? Huh? If theft and grievance had been ruled out as motive, what reason could Mr. Natsumi possibly have had for stabbing the young woman? Yet you arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way. Objection! Objection! Bye, bitch! Ow! Fuck! Pray forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery, but your words have soured its hollowed bouquet. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student. Yes, sir! 2 people injured, right? Honestly, if Von Zeeks threw a wine bottle at me, I'd be like, oh, thank you. Miss Natsumi's arrest. As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred. There was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about but the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he'd just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. Thirsty, is it? It is the dude? What? Old books, you say? The weird fruity guy? First, huh? He killed her? Oh, it could have fucking been the fucking Shakespeare dude. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down right now, my guy. Yes, my lord, I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime taken immediately after the incident. Ah, yes, I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. No. I will take that photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector. Please help, she's so goddamn round. She's just a little guy. She's just a little cutie. You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat. Denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it. What are you doing, Mr. Susato? Do go on. Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhodo? Well, now you mention it. When we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us what had happened. As I was lying alone that accursed pavement, I can make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, which is a weird word to use in that situation, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold hard stone, slabs of stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. Wait, 1 second. Yeah, it is the same knife. I thought it looked different, but that's because the blade was out. I thought the end of it looked too round. So I ran as fast as my legs could carry me back to my accursed lodgings. Rister, hold on. Hold on with what? Huh, a green overcoat. Well, that's exactly what the woman in the print is wearing. Oh my, a photographic print of blue color. What will the world come up with next? Did the funny quoter dude say which book he preferred? I don't think he did. It was either Hamlet or Macbeth. It was one of the two. And knowing him, he was quoting Hamlet earlier. So I bet he's a Hamlet fan. And so Seki-san likes Macbeth. Or you could ship them instead. The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back. There was nobody else at the scene at the time. Just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there was nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. In fact, that the accused concedes. It seems this cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I've used this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. Just want to see. I can't examine any of this shit? Bruh. Ma'am. Mammy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's something here. There's something right here. It's fake Gucci. My God. All right. Let's do it. Cross-examination. Miss Natsume's arrest. As I was saying, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred. There was unusually light fog. Hold it! Hold it! A light fog, you say? Well, light for London. You can see the opposite side of the street for once. Not much further, though. That's light, is it? Around these parts, yes. Not something I'd expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course. I've heard that London is famous for its fog. But in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance. How quaint. Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, so I expect you can appreciate. Ah, I see. At this time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm. Your Honor, she deserved it. She was wearing fake Gucci. I agree. I concur. Indeed, the other day I was very nearly trampled by horses, for I could see the carriage they were pulling. Since that's a son, and I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen. However, on the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused. Visibility was really good. No one knows about the victim being accused. Hold it! Weren't there 2 witnesses? How are you able to state that with any certainty? Quite simply, my learned friend, because that is what the witnesses to this crime have told us. Ah, yes, Inspector Gregson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard. That is correct, ma'am. Then we must hear their testimony. The prosecution will, of course, call them to the stand, should it be necessary. But wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter, it would have been dark already. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen... I'm unaware of the situation on your tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas streetlights. It's so funny that they keep calling it a tiny island. I'm pretty sure Japan is, like, bigger than Britain. Like, in terms of just raw square footage, like, we're bigger. The prosecution believes there would have been an ample light by which to witness the crime. Quiet! Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness. Which means we really need to hear those witnesses' statements. If I could just get through to the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we'll be able to. It seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. Hold it! Hold it! From behind, you said? That's right, as you can see from this print. How do we know that that's her behind? Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. Oh my god, don't. No, Crisis. No, 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 no! And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in critical condition. Comatose, no less. I'm afraid so, my lord. Yes, she's being treated at Bart's. I was hopeful that she'd come around before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events. Luck is on your client's side, it seems. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid. The accused ran off, scattered his belongings all over the floor. Mr. Natsume's belongings? I think you'll find us all there in the photographic print of the crime scene. Yes, the 3 books on the floor. That's right, my lord. Second-hand books they were. Irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of course. The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand, which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example. He's very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full with his books. He's managed to close the one avenue of escape he might have had before we even knew it was there. You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings and he thrust the knife into the woman's back? That must be what happened, my lord, yes. There's been a number of old books he just bought. He's on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Yeah, so I understand. A shop full of old English literature. I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The bloke's room is stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? Well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused's lodgings in this place here, Bourbon Books. Your books, motherfucker! Let's go! We got him, boys. A little place on the corner of Bar Road and Meerschaum Street. As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Bar Road at the opposite end. Which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Something like this. I clicked off what happened. They said he went to a certain bookstore, but that's not the one that the receipt said he goes to. Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop. Miss Naruhodo, I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance. Yes, I agree. The most important point that the inspector just made being... Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favor? What? Could you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe? Oh, well, you know. I mean, yes. It could be a very important clue. He did the Phoenix pose. I love that. It's the first time I've seen that. Very well, not that I see it being any great significance, but please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. Could the man be any more sardonic?
Objection!
Objection! Hell yeah. If I could just stop you there, Inspector Gregson. What is it, Sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know. This is the receipt that we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident, and details the purchase of 3 secondhand books. And you found that in the accused's room, did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Yore Books. Yore Books? Yeah, Y-O-R-E, I presume. Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a secondhand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. Eh? What? Inspector, did you know of this other bookshop? Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have known about it. But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Objection!
Objection. Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. Objection, motherfucker. I disagree. I mean, after all, I have the stream out here, if that might be a help. Oh, yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, Your Books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed that location at all. Could that be true?
My, it rather depends on where this other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility.
Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said?
Absolutely. It absolutely could be right. Inspector Gregson, where is this Your Books establishment? First just cut his hair. He might have. Well, obviously we looked into that. It turns out that Your Books is just here on the next corner of Meerschaum Street, going east. So he could have gone either fucking way. Damn it. And there you have it, as you can clearly see now. Oh. Do you want some cranberry juice? My learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown the way he regales us with such witticisms. You fucking clussy lover. To your future career in the circus. Yeah, you put that glass down now or I'll put it down for you! Let's fucking go, Mrs. Otto. I didn't think I needed to spend it out here, but here we go. If the accused was coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon Books, there's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Yes, thank you, Inspector. Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. My hand is fucking bleeding. Please help me. Wherever the man purchases musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. And you can't spell analysis without anal, my learned friend.
As I suspected, you can't fool me. I don't suggest you try.
Why, say yeah? I've had enough of this now.
Beg your pardon? Terribly sorry. Would you mind repeating that?
Mr. Naruhodo, we mustn't give up. What do you mean? If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsumi is guilty. She's absolutely right. We must think. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. They claim Soseki-san must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from your books, but obviously raised an objection. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed.
Explain yourself, counsel.
Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map. When returning from your books to his lodgings, if Mr. Natsumi could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection!
My hand is still bleeding. Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way round. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? Well, the answer is exactly simple. Extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime. But, aha, yes, I've got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsumi which route he took home. I have already informed the court of the accused's response to such a questioning. He claims he has no recollection. Ha.
That's right. As I said, the bloke seemed to have spent his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home.
I don't believe this! Believe it, as my good friend Naruto would say. I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Yo, what's up, Dead Price? Yo, do you remember me? Of course I do, good sir. Pray, what say you insightful jurors? Yeah. But even if that is the case, the defense still... Oh shit, they're all pissed. Oh my god.
I agree with Lon Van Zeeks. Wholeheartedly and in every way.
What? I don't believe it. Does this mean...
We members of the jury are completely convinced now. Alright, well, in that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty.
They're speaking!
Guilty.
They're speaking!
Guilty.
They're speaking!
Guilty!
What am I supposed to do when they're speaking? I don't like it when they speak. I don't much like it when they like talk with their words and stuff.
It would appear the jury's leaning is unanimous.
To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve queen and country admirably. Miss Naruhodo. No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow. Those are the eyes of a quarry not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial? Rights of the defense, written to antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense's prerogative to carry out a summation examination if it so chooses.
Very well, counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with the summation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and his unctuous refusal to throw in his alley. Very well then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty.
All right. Judicial findings. The juror's contentions.
For pity's sake, that little Nipponese already admitted it himself, didn't he?
If he said that a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, why can it only have been the victim? Why can only have been the victim?
The man wouldn't have gone around the house on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter.
So the poor woman was attacked from behind, but she how dreadful.
I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? I got work to be doing. Hey, your books, yes, nice shop that, but bourbon books? No, not worth a visit.
Why?
With only minor exceptions, the reasons for finding the defendant guilty are all too clear.
When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink to the ground before his eyes.
Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already.
Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt now. Why did he have to run away like that? And how are we supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. It's like the ghost from Hamlet. Wait a minute. How could I possibly make a case for the defense? Mr. Naruhodo, this is no time for grumbling. If you want to force the trial to continue, yes, I know, I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward.
You have the floor, Counsel. Begin your summation examination.
Yes, my lord. I just need to keep this trial going somehow, whatever it takes. Come on, Ryunosuke, you can do it. Fuck yeah, shawty. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal.
Hold it!
Hold it! Excuse me, but aren't you...
Yes, that's right. I was in the witness stand myself just 2 days ago.
Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face, or the side of it anyway. If I remember correctly, you're a banker, aren't you?
That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to work. And it was all going swimmingly until you started fussing around. Bruce Fairplay was a man of repute.
Sorry?
Don't think I've forgotten how you treated me the other day. You had me and that young hatter pegged as criminals. You pegged us!
Oh, well, you know, water under the bridge.
There's all sorts of rumors buzzing around. All the police have been badgering me non-stop.
If I could turn back the clock.
Well, anyway, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. And free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't.
Huh. Thank goodness. All right, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind given our awkward history. Oh dear, I wonder what's become of Mr. First now. He's fucking dead. I fucking... Or he's over there. You're right that at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to having seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him.
Well, quite, that's precisely my point. Clearly, that someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly, that funny little Nipponese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit.
But let us not forget, madame, the defendant vehemently denies attacking the woman.
Why, of course he does.
If he had missed a stabbing her, his life is over.
The man is obviously a level-faced coward, honestly claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes.
But if that's a lie, as you're suggesting, do you not think he would have concocted something more credible?
Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say that goes through your funny little minds?
I could tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it.
I do declare the man has already made the admission. He himself stated that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion's obvious. No one else could have possibly committed this awful crime. If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple.
Your argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit.
I think I'm my lord.
That went well for her.
I'm definitely not Mr. First. I promise.
But you can't deny that there are other routes Mr. Natsume could have taken back from your books.
Oh yeah, like you drew on the map, you mean? What was it, Calabash Road or something?
Precisely.
But it seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not.
Well, yes, that's true.
And at the moment, there's no proof that shows he did, is there?
Well, yes, that's true as well.
And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he?
Well, yes, that's annoyingly true.
Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you'd want to get home as quickly as possible.
Well, yes. Why is all this true?
So really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Briar Road. I'm supposed to be convincing you here. I've given a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on a whim that he did it. I mean, if there was some logical reason why he might have gone Calabash Road way, it'd be different. I'd be happy to reconsider my position in that case. Honestly, I would. A reason why Saseki-san might have taken the longer way home. Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion without one.
So the poor woman was back around, must see how dreadful.
Hold it!
Whatever's the matter, young man?
You're the wife of Mr. Garadeb, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsume's room.
The master's wife? Where'd you get your idea, sir? I'm the maid, you understand?
She's keeping up that charade? This is going to be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? That you'd been selected for the jury in this trial, I mean.
Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was written in the letter I received. The instructions were very clear, so I'm afraid I had no choice.
I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsume, the defendant, takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he?
Yes, that's right. Although he's only been in a little over a week now.
And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsume look like the kind of man who would commit a crime such as this?
Oh my goodness me, yes! Yes! He's just the sort.
What?
Spending all his time in that dark and dingy room, sporting that unscrupulous mustache. The man never speaks. And don't get me started on those shifty eyes. All the neighbors are talking about him. I've heard them, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something.
Oh dear. Poor Mr. Natsume, how could people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm, nothing more. Well, you just called him a worm, so... Anyway, I'd better be careful around inviting this maid to speak. She's said enough damning things already. I'll fucking punch you! God. Hold it! A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes.
Don't get clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, and so's my family's.
Ah.
Well, actually, you wouldn't understand, but a laborer like me can afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat. Neither do the wife and kids.
Oh, I see. That must be very hard.
I go to the union every morning to find out what he's doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left, right, and center. They're after cheap labor to get the roads dug up to fix it. It's hard slog from dawn to duskies.
So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you?
That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just round the corner from where it all happened. By that old bookshop it was.
Motherfucker, yo! Another coincidence.
That's right, Mearsham Street it was.
Mearsham Street. On the map, Mr. Naruhodo, there are only 3 named streets. Juror number 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please.
What's the point now? Can we just get this business over with now?
Please, sir. It's important.
Fine, I'll do it then.
Okay. Hold it, why? This is the one I was interested in.
Sorry, fold it, you say, fold why?
No. What I said was hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often?
I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
And at what time did you visit your books on the day in question?
Well, I was picking out books in there all afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
Just before 5, you said? Exactly when the victim was attacked. You did it! Are you sure about the time?
Oh, yes. No mistake there.
He's got a green overcoat. Wait! He looks just like the victim from behind. Chat, am I the only one who sees this? He looks just like the victim from behind.
I remember it well. I'm not about to forget that day in a hurry, not after the dreadful time I had.
What do you mean?
Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and dunked my head.
No way! Dude! Fucking Mr. Natsume didn't see the woman die. He saw this dude!
It's always worse after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. He already thought my number was up.
Wait a minute, let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road.
That's right. I live in Cornpipe, you see. Heading down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books.
Juror number 6, I must insist that you add that information to your formal statement. It may very well be extremely significant.
Sorry? Extremely sick? No, I'm quite all right now.
It sends a shiver down my spine to hear the members of the jury so convinced of Mr. Natsume's guilt. But I can't help feeling that some of their opinions are rather subjective. I agree. It's the irrelevance of what some of them are saying that sends a shiver down my spine. Still, at least some of their assertions don't actually incriminate Mr. Natsume of anything. That's something. We must see if you use that to our advantage, Mr. Naruhodo, cunningly. Yes, you're right. Let's listen to the jurors again, carefully. If any of their assertions are at odds, I'll pit them mercilessly against each other. Yes, don't hold back. Pit them all against each other. Bum, 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 na, na, na.
Objection!
Objection, motherfuckers. Those two statements clearly show a flaw in the juror's reasoning.
Flaw? What are you talking about, counsel?
Well, juror number 2, juror number 6.
What do you mean, sir?
I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. There is at least one fact of which we can be sure here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's room clearly indicates that on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of secondhand titles. He then returned home on foot.
But the man says he has no recollection of his return journey.
That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes.
Yes, we are well aware of this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Objection!
Objection. Can we really be sure of that, madam?
Why? Whatever do you mean?
I'm sure you heard juror number 6 account of what happened to him that day. That same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim who was wearing a green overcoat and who fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood.
Oh my!
My goodness, you mean... Wow!
That's right, I'm referring, of course, to hard of hearing juror number 6.
Oh, are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman on the end of the bench here with me today?
That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man has somewhat similar build to the victim. Well, look at that.
My goodness me. Sorry, you need a pee?
And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in green overcoat fell.
On Calabash Road.
Therefore, if the person who Mr. Natsume saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long route back to his lodgings. And if that's true, then clearly, the crime scene on Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home.
Oh
my! You idiot, old man! If you hadn't been so daft as to be roaming around there, we'd have boxed this off hours ago.
And really, what were you thinking wearing such a befuddling coat?
What did you say to me? It is a crime for the elder to walk the streets these days, huh? Is it a crime to slip over the ice? Is it a crime to keep up the latest stars and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it?
Hold it.
Hold it. Even though I am quite racist, I must change my opinion. My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but...
You'd like to change your leaning, I presume?
I do declare that I would. I should like to call for a verdict of not guilty.
Thank you.
And I would too.
What?
Is it a crime to change your mind? Is it? Well,
Motherfucker. He's just like, motherfucker. He's just a really, like, vulgar old man. That's a really fucking cool system. It's impossible, of course, but, like, what if, though? Well done, Miss Nyadahuda. That was wonderful. Well, we've managed to change a couple of minds, at least. It's strengthened our position somewhat. Yes, and it will prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stance as well. They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if only we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume. We might be able to tip the balance completely. Yes, that's exactly what we've got to do. Von Zieks is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent, by whatever means we have at our disposal. Ooh.
Thank you, counsel. On with the summation examination, please.
Yes, my lord. The man wouldn't have gone around the house on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. Pit this one against that. Those two statements are clearly at odds with one another.
At odds, counsel. Explain yourself.
Please, don't point. It wasn't me, I swear.
What? I just want to get this done and dusted.
Well, juror number 3.
Oh, me, sir? What do you mean?
Juror number 5's words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's been said on our map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsume visited this bookshop to purchase a number of secondhand books. And on the same day, we now know that there were works being carried out on Meerschaum Street, making it impassable. Which means that the defendant's route home could not have taken him along Meerschaum Street and down Briar Road.
Oh, yes, of course. What do you think, sir?
Well, yes, you can't argue with that, really, can you? You must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way.
So the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings.
Yes, I suppose he must have.
I suppose I must be right, eh?
Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop. But we see now that he had no choice.
Yes! You really got my goat there. My lord, Mr. Judge, sir, if I may.
Yes?
I don't think at all in good conscience that I can say the man's guilty now. Yeah, I'd like to see this trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened.
Boom.
What about you, sir?
Who, me? Well, all right then. If there's a hole in the prosecution's argument, it should be filled in, that's what I say.
It's literally the only 2 people that we know who are still on the guilty side.
Well, that summation examination is concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. The ayes, 2. The noes, 4. So the noes have it, not guilty, they say. Which means we no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. The trial will continue.
Objection!
Objection. Coca-Cola cherry. My hand is fucking bleeding. Again. Could it seem churlish of me to drink from my hallowed chalice moments after raising an objection? Only to crush it in disgust? Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Von Zieks! It seems I must retract my earlier remark.
What do you mean?
I mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer.
Whatever do you mean?
Objection!
Objection! I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth. Indeed, stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road as he claims. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you had extracted, sir. Excavated?
That's right, it took the whole day. They paid me a measly tuppence for it.
Now, my learned Nipponese friend, tell me. Do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents?
Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no.
2 yards is a little less than 2 meters.
Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all.
In other words, a distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor.
But he just said that literally everyone that came across turned around.
Would you not agree, my stalwart friend?
Me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no.
What?
And did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your works?
Yeah, I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have had a hope of passing anyway, so we just turn in and general back when they come. Kids just jump right over us all the time.
The accused is no gentleman as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his mean meanderings around town.
Oh! Is that true? Is it?
The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found at the scene. There can be no doubt that on his way back to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume walked down Briar Road.
Crushed in a single sentence.
And, old man,
Cold man, you can talk!
you say that around 5 o'clock on the day in question, you slipped and fell on Calabash Road. Pray, was there a suspicious-looking Nipponese behind you at the time?
Can't say I remember.
You don't remember? How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw, but I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it. Ah! He's so cool.
Order! Lord Van Cheeks, explain yourself.
My lord,
If you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve, why in the world did you not prefer it during the summation examination?
I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. But my hospitality has its limits, and they have been reached, I feel. Yes! So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. I'm here now and off work, so hi. What are you talking about? My lord, the prosecution requests permission to call its next witnesses to the stand.
Granted. Bailiff, bring forward the witnesses.
It's next witnesses. Mr. Naruhodo, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident. Yes, I remember. Of course, one of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less. I'm afraid that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness. All right, no matter who Von Zeeks brings to the stand as his witness, and no matter what they say, I believe in Soseki-san. I know he's innocent, and I'll keep believing to the very end. Until this battle is over. Bum, bum, bum. Fuck yes. Is that a to be continued? No. Oh, hey! What's up? Hey, shawty.
Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court.
Well. Oh my god. She pegs him.
Constable Roy Beadle, sir! Not in your boy on the street, sir! Ah. And I'm Miss B. Patricia's my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young town's hero's wife.
Bro. This is my bro. What's the story here?
Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day.
I'm sleeping.
No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired. Hardly surprising. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world.
Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually.
Indeed, apart from rare days off, our gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check that meters are reading true, and they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our street lights.
There are a number of items on that list that don't sound much like policing duties at all. I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet. I'd have collapsed long ago.
But it goes without saying.
Don't let them disclose their sexual life. Don't assume. I'm just saying. I just get the vibes. You know what I'm saying?
But it goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, a constable is expected to investigate and resolve any crimes on his beat. For the London Bobby is a man of honor.
And a man of slumber.
On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction, and they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beat?
That's right, sir. Isn't it, Raleigh?
Constable Roy Bailey, sir! On your point on the street, sir!
What a great witness he's going to be.
Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw on the afternoon of the incident.
Yes, sir!
All right, witness testimony. What the witnesses saw.
It was our wedding anniversary, and Raleigh was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. Then the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over, of course, and then went for help at a nearby police box. It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Raleigh and I both saw him clear as day.
Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say.
Oh dear. This policeman and his wife are claiming to have positively identified Mr. Natsume at the scene. If their testimony is true, the alternative course of events that you established in the summation examination will be quashed.
It's death knell, in fact, because that alternative was never viable in the first place.
What an unfortunate perchancing. And on your wedding anniversary, too.
Oh, I know. But I still managed to go out for the evening with my man. I thank the Lord for that.
Gosh, the life of a London Bobby sounds very hard indeed.
Indeed. However, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may well have time to rest this afternoon.
What do you mean by that?
My learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of a man fleeing the scene. They're testifying under oath that it was without doubt the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. And one of these witnesses is a policeman, no less. So you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure.
Except that the man's so tired his wife has to do all the talking.
Enough preamble. Counsel for the defense. Commence the cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Okay, welcome back. Look at these little guys. Honestly, they're a really cute couple. I'll say that without doubt. Wait, hold on. Do they have a people? Wait, where's people? Do I not have a people thing? I don't have a people section right now? Damn. All right.
Hold it!
Court record. Let me look at the court record. Look at him! What a little guy! She's relatively recently married and fiercely proud of her police husband. Wife of a year, Patricia. That's so cute. No time to change after work, you say. Are you also a member of the police, Mrs. Beat? He's cheering. Yeah, he's actually trying really hard to stay standing at the moment.
Oh, no, sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply.
Well, I think you can probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you?
I think Raleigh looks ever so handsome in his uniform. It suits you down to the ground, doesn't it, darling?
What? I just finished my beat. Pat and I were headed back to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there.
Is he talking in his sleep? This is creepy.
Oh no, Raleigh, I much prefer you in uniform. Sometimes I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes.
Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy.
Kindly adhere to the point. You were going for a meal after you had finished your beat for the day, correct?
That's right, sir, yes. Although I was fit to drop, to be honest, after spending the whole day on my feet. But policing is my life, sir. As long as I'm a proud owner of this, I'll serve my city and my queen to the end. And my other queen, standing right next to me. What's that now? My warrant card, sir. Proof I'm a London copper.
I am a Tier 3 sub of Her Majesty. It has the noble founding principles of the Force written on it, as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty, to patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. Sir, and for such a noble cause, I cover 20 miles every single day without fail, without a grumble. Because I know that the plodding of my boots is all Londoners need to hear to feel safe and secure.
So, fighting crime doesn't appear to come into it then.
But sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. B puts up with a lot, being married to a Bobby like me.
Damn! Look at them! This is goals. What? Yo!
Mari, I have some plans.
I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. Oh, Pat. Oh, Riley.
He calls her Pat. He's gay. Bro, relationship goals, right?
Oh, what a charming couple. Their young love is such a joy to behold.
If a little over the top, perhaps? I don't know what they're talking about.
And then kindly describe what happened next.
Pat is a gender-neutral name. That's fair, I guess. I don't know. I guess Pat is Put. Did he? Well, it's pronounced Patricia, so maybe he's calling her Put. Pat isn't everybody now? I've never seen a girl named Pat. But that is just me. I'll trust chat. I'll trust chat on this one. I'll trust it. Patrick, Patricia, so Pat is gender neutral. I have a mother I know. Okay, chat's correct. I don't get out much. I'm the fucking Mr. Soseki-san of this chapter. I just stay in my room all day. I don't get out much. I'm sorry. Chat's right. Please forgive me.
Anyway, 2 silhouettes appeared out of the fog and came in.
Hold it. 2 silhouettes.
That's right. They were coming towards us, walking up Briar Road in the opposite direction. There was a rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. That does sound exactly like the victim as pictured in this print, and like Mr. Natsume.
Yes, unfortunately it does. And you're certain that at that time there was nobody else nearby?
Oh, quite certain. It was dark, but there are streetlights on Briar Road, you see. There was nobody else around at all. Isn't that right, my darling? Yes, that's right. Of course, there was light fog on the ground, but Briar Road is dead straight, and you can see a fairly long way down the pavement. And then there's the street lighting as well. I didn't see any other pedestrians.
Before sleep takes a firm hold, your answer please, Mr. Beat. Are you quite sure of what you've just said?
Yes, sir! As the copper who spends all day every day keeping watch on the streets, I swear to it, sir! I'm as sure as my love for Patricia is true. Oh, pass. Oh, Rolly!
They're still maintaining there was no one else around other than the victim and the attacker. It's starting to seem like that must be how it really happened. It's beginning to seem like there's nowhere to run. Well, that didn't stop Mr. Natsume, did it? He fled the scene all too convincingly. Public displays of adorable. Thank you, dude.
Thank you. I believe we have a reasonably clear idea of the situation just before the incident now.
What, dude, if I ever get called in to testify, me and Mari get called in to testify, we're going to act exactly like this and get thrown out within 2 minutes. That's the real goal here.
What happened in the crucial moments that followed?
All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor.
So you didn't see him stab him? You didn't see him stab her? Scattered something? What do you mean? That's not what I wanted to ask about, bro.
Oh, well, I couldn't quite make it out what it was at the time. But then when we got closer, we realized what it was. Didn't we, darling? Yes, that's right. It was some old books.
I see. Old books.
Yes, sir. The culprit has dropped a number of them all around where the victim lay on the pavement.
The matching scarves are adorable.
Indeed, as clearly pictured in this photographic print.
That rotten Japanese man did that when he did the deed.
Hold it. That's a tad racist.
Let's not forget that it remains to be established that the defendant was indeed the attacker. But we saw him. It was the man in the dock without question, sir. The mustache, the hunchback, the cat-like eyes, the tall mouth, the snub nose. Everything.
Any more insults you want to throw in?
That's right. He looked down at that poor defenseless woman with those terrifying, intense eyes. And then suddenly threw his books onto the pavement and ran away.
I see. This is tough. They seem as though they're telling the truth here. May I remind the court that this unambiguous testimony comes from a policeman and his wife. Now please continue.
Yes, sir. We ran straight over, of course, and we went to help for the nearby police box.
Hold it! Was it your husband who went to fetch help?
No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am the proud wife of one after all. Isn't that right, my darling? Well, yeah, that's right. I asked Mrs. Beat to go. I was off duty by that point. But as Bobby's never truly off duty, of course, so I felt obliged to stay and guard the scene.
I'm done listening to racism at its slyest. Bro, you should have seen the first case. Oh my god. Like, that one was, whew.
Very laudable, Mrs. Beetle. Mr. Beat. Preserving the scene of a crime is a task of considerable importance.
That's why I sent Patricia. You see, I told her to find the right police box.
Forgive my ignorance. I'm gonna head out and nap or something. All right, Mari, love you.
But what do you mean exactly by the right police box? Depends on a crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. Where the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat. So I told Patricia the way to the police box for the beat the incident fell under so she could go and report it.
Van Zeeks is only racist because he doesn't want to admit he's gay for Naruhodo. Enemies to lovers. Thank you. And chat, you wanna know what the best part about that is? You wanna know the best part? She's 16. So we can't even be like, oh no, his true shipping is Susato. No, it isn't, because she's 16. No. His true shipping is with a man. Or 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 a man? Alright.
I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There's nothing more potent than a young couple in love working together, you know?
And thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions of two model citizens.
Oh, please, you're making us blush, isn't he, darling?
Not everyone is Garrister. But you can't deny Herlock Sholmes. But you can't deny Barak Van Zeeks. Look at you, man. Like, she's 10. But your boy, Ethan Gregson is kind of like, you know what I'm saying? And male Strongheart. Like, if that's not a gay name, this might be the 19th century or the 20th century. But I'm just saying, bro.
Yes, sir. What Patricia said, sir.
You can't just say the MC's gay because you want him to get pegged by them. Hey, let's not forget the relationship he had with Kazuma, all right? Let's move on, shall we? Wait, restart? Wait, what?
It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Raleigh and I both saw him clear as day.
Hold it. Maelstrom Heart? Maelstrom Heart? What does Maelstrom Heart mean? But surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of the gas street lamps, would you? I don't know the relationship, so I can forget.
We absolutely could. Us Londoners have exceptional eyesight, I'll have you know.
Right.
The light from the street lamps was more than enough. And my husband already told you that the fog was only light, didn't he?
Yes, and what of the fog?
We're famous for it across the globe, I believe. But it's an absolute menace to those of us who have to live with it, of course.
Oh, it is. When it's thick, you can't even see the hand at the end of your own arm.
Yeah, yes, all right, I take your point. Now, could you stop shaking your husband about?
Constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, you see. That's why we can tell you for sure and for certain that it was that little Japanese man we saw. Can't we, darling?
I'm leaving out. All right, Mari. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Oh, yeah, it was the accused, no mistake. The mustache, the hunchback, the cow-like eyes, the tall mouth. Unmistakable, sir.
As far as this couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was the Seki-san they saw running away from the scene of the crime.
So that's it, is it?
That's their entire testimony.
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, I hate to admit it, but on hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beat saw what they saw. Mr. Natsume running away from the scene on Briar Road that day.
Yes, I feel the same.
So if that's true, where does it leave us?
The members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony.
Oh no, then what do we do? If Kazuma-sama were here,
What are you trying to say?
I think he would try to find a contradiction somewhere else within their testimony. What do you mean, somewhere else? Their statement about seeing Mr. Natsume is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. But if you can identify some other part of their testimony which appears to contradict the facts, you might be able to discredit them, to make the jury doubt if the pair's memory of the day is accurate. Oh, right. Put simply, we must focus on finding a discrepancy in these statements somewhere. If we don't, I'm afraid the trial may reach an early and unfavorable conclusion. Why do I always seem to be so up against it?
Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask you something?
Oh, yes, of course. What is it?
Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything we've told you, so it seems like you don't believe our testimony. Is that right? Is it? Well, out with it.
What? No. Oh, no, it's really not that at all.
My husband's a policeman, remember? And I know what I saw. I remember every last detail. Everything. Oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I could tell you the names of every single one. Every single one.
Please do. Please do. Please do.
And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is?
That will do, Miss Beat.
No, it won't do it all. That Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Even if I decide to forgive him for insulting us, don't think for a minute that Raleigh will.
I really didn't mean to cause offense. Please put your husband's fists down.
Perhaps you would like the opportunity to supplement your testimony, Mrs. Beat?
I have a wig!
Might that appease you?
Oh, thank you, my lord. That would settle things nicely. Wouldn't it, darling? Whatever. I can even tell you the names of the 4 books he dropped at the scene.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Objection.
Excuse me? So, you're saying that there were 4 books?
That's right, I remember all of them. The picture of Monsieur Somebody, What's It Yearnings, A Meal for Someone, and The Thingamy Something.
What's it, yearnings? That sounds very Shakespearean. I'm sorry, Mrs. Beat. But there is a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours.
Oh no! What flaw?
Simply that, at the scene of the crime, there were only 3 books, not 4.
What?
Have a good look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see, there are only 3 books.
But no, that can't be. I saw them. Oh, I know what it is. Yes, you can't fool me.
Sorry?
It's that big old lump of a dead body. The lady's so large, her corpse is blocking the view of the 4th book, that's all.
Let's at least try to remember that the poor woman isn't dead, even if we're insulting her size. No, I'm sorry, Mrs. Beat.
But Mr. Natsume cannot possibly have dropped the 4 books you described.
Why not?
Fascinating. And from your assured turn, something you can readily substantiate with evidence, I presume. Evidence.
Counsel, you will present evidence to substantiate your claim or withdraw it. What proof do you have that the accused did not drop 4 books? The fucking receipt, he only bought 3!
The evidence is right here, in the form of this bookshop receipt.
From your books?
Yes, this receipt details Mr. Natsume's purchases that day. But as you can see, only 3 books are listed.
No!
Therefore, Mr. Natsume would have only dropped 3 books at the scene of the crime. Which means that your powers of observation, madame, cannot be relied upon. So it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could have very well be mistaken.
Oh no, oh no, 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 no!
Objection!
Objection!
My fingers smell like salami. It's plainly evident. That is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Nipponese friend. What? What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. A fact that you know very well you have no hope of disproving. So you've striven to avert attention from that by the dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Would that be fair? He sees right through me. But your plan has somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every respect.
Oh!
You see, the matter is not up for debate. At the scene on Briar Road, a total of 4 books were most definitely found.
Objection!
Objection, but what about the photographic print? It only shows 3 books. Quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print.
That print? You mean to say...
Allow me to present another. One that shows the victim's hand.
Did that book have a fucking chomp taken out of it? The Lion's Pride? It's burnt! That's Mr. Garadeb's book! I don't believe it! It's the 4th book!
As you will observe, the 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No. Order.
There, you see? Look at that! Look!
Yes.
It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling?
Yes, sir. Patricia's always right, sir. Let us study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Mrs. Beat, the titles once again, if you please.
Oh, yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur somebody or other.
The picture of Monsieur Lecoq.
What's at Yearnings?
Canterbury Yearnings.
A meal for someone.
A meal for Godebra, in fact. As the court has just heard, the witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Mrs. Beat's powers of recollection can only be described as exceptional.
Did you hear that, Raleigh? The gentleman paid me a compliment.
Yes, sir. Flawless, sir. Patricia's flawless.
But there are only 3 books on the receipt, and Mrs. B mentioned 4.
There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is that which is shown in this photographic print.
I'm sorry, Counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt?
It's not odd at all, my lord. The photograph clearly shows the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim.
The victim was holding her own book? I wonder, what became of that fourth book?
Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence.
You will submit that and the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, counsel.
My pleasure, my lord.
Holy shit, dude. Bum 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 bum.
The prosecution rests.
Technically, that means you're not supposed to say shit for the rest of the trial, but I know you will. What the fuck is this then, eh? It's just like a tumor. Oh, look at this. This book has been badly burnt. You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state, especially not the latter pages. What a terrible waste. Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. A book. Recently damaged by fire. Why does that seem to raise a red flag with me? Oh, yeah, beans, baby. Look at those fucking beans. What?
I have nothing further to add.
What?
You seem surprised, my learned friend, but your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The spurious longer route to the accused lodgings that you tried to establish in your summation examination, and the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination.
Futile? Muda, 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 muda! I walked right into this, didn't I?
You see, everything we've said is true. Isn't that right, my darling?
She fucking murders him.
Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat.
Aren't you already married?
So perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions? Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence.
This trial has run its course. Miss Nodohodo, I'm afraid we were in a terribly precarious position. I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could very well just make matters worse. Think, Ryunosuke, think. What do you do now? Raise an objection.
Objection.
I'm not done yet.
No, my learned friend, it's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There is no more room for debate.
Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... I can't think of what to say. If I may, Lord Van Zieks, it seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point.
Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene at a moment like this.
Oh. No, fucking be baller, Suzato-san. I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Miss Nodohodo, fuck yeah. Mr. Von Zieks, hold me close and call me wrong. One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance, so the court will hear you, madame. Go ahead, Mr. Sato, please.
Very well.
Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished. I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? Miss Nodohodo, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Yes, I understand, and thank you, Mr. Zato. This is it. Suzato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste.
The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well, the defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked.
Take that!
The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The fourth book found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
Objection! We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know.
Ah, yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, yes, my lord. It's, Miss Nodahodo, I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence. Which means you may very well be on the right track. Yes, I think you might be right.
So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue to this case, which this fourth book conceals?
I didn't mean to put wrong button, 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 the wrong button, I pressed 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 the wrong button, press 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 the right button. Let's go! I would ask the courts to observe the back of the book in question.
Good gracious. My penis. It's been burnt to a crisp.
So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching when it's clearly an unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing. Oh my god, the scarves? Wait, the scarves are attached to each other. Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? Oh. Were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there is nothing to discuss. So should you wish to assert that this fire damages some veiled clues to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth did this charred book hide? A charred book. There is just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. All right, I'll explain my theory.
Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage the sorry tome has suffered?
Its owner. My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner.
I beg your pardon?
But we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand as she fell to the floor, after all. It's obviously hers.
The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers.
Good gracious, how can you be hostile?
Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the numbers of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry.
Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book?
Take that!
Take that! The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb. The landlords? And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Garadeb herself.
Oh my goodness. Me? I think I must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garrett's wife. I'm his maid.
You're his maid wife. Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. All right then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garadeb's house?
Oh, I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused's landlady, you say? You implicate this hard-working member of the public? You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable. Objection. This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house. Good lord! What sort of incident, counsel? A fire, my lord.
Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a body thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The body furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Bride.
He looks like a JoJo. The Lion's Pride.
By Jove, the very same title that's the subject of this debate. Oh, dear me!
Objection! This is reasonable. All you've done is told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. In which case it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Garrideb was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garrideb even amid the flames.
Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Raleigh? Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir.
The window! She chucked it through the window!
Had all my favorite novels in that case, but as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. And the wife started hurling things at me. There was I, back up against the window, under heavy evening fire, incendiary books coming 10 to the dozen.
Mr. The other note, the note in Mr. Garrideb's book? What about it? What about it?
The man had his back up against the window and he had burning books thrown at him. Goodness gracious! Are you suggesting that the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
Wasn't it by a Patricia? I don't think it was. I don't think the note had an author on it. I think it was just to like James, or it was to a James. But I don't think it was. I can't remember if it had like a signature on it. We'll have to check. We will have to check, because that would be crazy. No. A thorough investigation of the surrounding area was concluded the very evening of the incident. And there was no report of the Garrideb's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garrideb household. But is it not conceivable that the window was open at the time? Not even remotely! Let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter.
Does the defense postulate the scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Do you honestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garrideb's wife?
I believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough. It's probably the maid.
That's quite enough!
Okay, it's by a Mary. I swear, I imagine though, that would have been crazy.
Well, I hope that you can see from what you've done now, you foreign little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward.
Really?
Claiming that little tiff will set up the whole neighborhood alight, honestly. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this BC case, not any of it. Or even to sully our family's name.
No, I assure you that was never my intention.
Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. I should box your ears, that's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable.
Too right. Here we go.
How long have we sat here now, listening to this nippity spouting out his fancy foreign theories? But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim
Is that a hunchback with a mustache? And he ran away from the scene too.
I do declare you're right. It's true.
Yes, what did I tell you? Makes sense to me.
Sorry, what's that? Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Zeeks?
In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage.
No, wait. The mystery of the Force book still hasn't been.
Oh, God. The fact that his slam was louder than mine. Oh,
Dude, he literally won the dick measuring contest.
If books are your predilection, fuck it, whatever. My learned friends, study them on your own time.
What? No, forgive the discourtesy this time? In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you now state your individual regarding decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty.
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 Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Why? He doesn't sound like that. There's no way that that guy sounds like that. I don't buy that one for a second. Just saying. Sheesh. Thank you for that unambiguous response. That's twice now. It's over. Miss Nodahodo, don't give up. Mrs. Zata, have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. You're not suggesting. Of course. The defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. You can still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance. My lord, the defense asks to exercise its right to a summation examination.
You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve?
I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. This is no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance I have to stay strong and determined. My neck is clipping into my collar. To be continued. Chat. This is a great case. Okay, motherfuckers, hold up. Boom, bitches. Chat, that is going to be it for the stream today. Thank you guys so much for coming out. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you all here. Absolutely phenomenally. Chat, I think we'll just end the stream. I don't know if we... fuck it. We can do a raid. Everybody hop into the raid. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Hope I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hope I made your guys' day better, because I know you guys might make my day better every time I come out here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully. Farewell, everybody. Bye.
With it, they were ready with the body of four. At the showing, we're watching cringe videos. It put us into the finger shooters. Sterling, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. My name is Alara, and today we are doing a bit of a stream makeover and watching cringy Smash videos. How are you guys doing? How's your stream, mister? Thank you so much for sharing your community with me. And hello, Winter. Welcome. In the Castle Raiders. I just got a modified coaching session for the boss. You did? I love him. He's so sweet. I love him. He's so funny, though. Like, legitimately, he's so funny. Jack, I'm gonna upload it to YouTube tomorrow. Don't worry, okay? Oh, it's a JoJo pose. Okay. Oh,
No, this is game one.
What is going on? Hi, Blue Hope. That was amazing. Worst crowd moments? You guys want to watch? You want to watch funniest moments, or you want to watch worst crowd moments? Because this is definitely gonna have where they threw the crab at Hungry Box. The crab, I know. Awkward handshakes in my baby. That was weird. Their hands were just kind of like all over the place. That was cringe. Funny moments? Okay. Do not watch crowd moments? I think it breaks 2S. Why is that? What's in it? I want to see the crab. The crab's pretty funny. Let's watch funniest and we can watch a crab after that.
Oh! Okay, I'm kind of hyped off that throw. Damn. See, look, what can you do about that? Oh! Doo-doo! Look at Mutsa King, he's cheesing so hard right now. Oh, you took off his stock? That's nice. Oh, Hungry Box just stood up! He just stood up!
Wait, did he just let...
Hungry Box...
He just let M2K start playing? The crab is illegal?
Mewtwo King!
They make a World War II joke?
He's tagging in!
Is that against TOS
Oh
though?
my
I don't think jokes are against TOS. I'm playing Smash? Oh yeah, which one are you playing?
Damn.
Did he actually invite another person into the game?
Oh god, so now we're having a top out.
Yo.
This is looking like Wi-Fi.
Look, it's Plus, everyone.
3-1 right now. The taunt count.
They're
Mewtwo
just
King.
talking shit. That's all this game is. Like
They're
that's all
taunting
they
in
want.
between.
Oh my god.
What kills me is that they're not just taunting; they're getting right up to somebody
Oh,
and then.
right, I know which one you're talking about.
I dare you.
Please, just forward smash him.
As long as I don't think that breaks
Dude, the
2S though.
disrespect.
It's a very bad joke. I don't know if watching. Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't think watching a video of it is against TOS.
Get him, finish
Got
him.
him!
Oh!
That was so dumb.
Oh
You
my
guys couldn't
god.
see it because it was off screen, but Plump actually chopped Mewtwo King's head off.
Oh
on
my
that last
god.
one. Fox was decapitated, and Mewtwo King has disappeared.